Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Lori. This is Ask Dr. Lori Live. That's right. That's where guests are here. You ask me questions, and I'm going to look at your art, antiques, and collectibles and do some appraisals. Don't forget to sign up for my newsletter. The next newsletter coming out talks about how to spot a big frame, and it's a big frame value. So you want to check that out. Sign up for the newsletter now. How do you sign up? drloriv.com, and you can go right to that page right from your smartphone. Open it up on the hamburger menu, and then you'll see the free thumbs up. Go down there and sign up for the newsletter. It's free, and we'll send it to you when we send it out. So I'm going to have the guests here. I'm going to look at their objects, do some appraisals, show you what to look for, and I'm going to give you lists because it's easier for everybody to remember the lists, right? And then for the rest of you, I want to hear your questions. So write in the chat, write in the comment section, what questions do you have about these individual objects that are featured from our guests? So let's get started. So it looks like we've got a brooch. It looks like we've got a necklace. And it looks like we've got a little Wedgwood pot. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look at this necklace. I like the chunky. I like the blue. Let's see what that's all about. Let's take a look at that. I like the brooch too. And I do like the Wedgwood pot too. Might be Wedgwood, which is definitely jasperware. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
What's your name?
My name is Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin. Where are you calling from?
Georgia.
What did you just say?
I'm so nervous.
Why are you nervous?
I'm
How
starting.
old are you? Why are you nervous?
I've been watching you like crazy the past few months, and I'm nervous because I'm a little starstruck right now.
Don't be nervous. I'm a good friend to have. Don't be nervous. But I like it. It's nice of you to say that. It's sweet of you to say that. I'm grateful that you're watching. I hope it's helping and I hope it's fun. Are you a big treasure hunter down there in Georgia?
Most definitely.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like this. Tell me a little bit about this piece.
Okay, I found this necklace at an auction, an in-house auction.
Okay.
And it's an interesting story. I wasn't actually interested in this piece because it was tangled up in some other pieces of jewelry. But I bought the whole lot of jewelry for like $10.
Yeah, that's great.
Whenever unraveling it, I looked closer because the gold looked really nice on this. Do you want me to put it closer? The gold looked really nice on this piece, and I had a lot of filigree. And then pulled out my loop. I discovered that it was 14 karat gold, and it was made in Germany.
Okay, so it's marked 14K.
Mm-hmm.
Where was the mark?
On the
clasp.
Clasp, yeah.
And it says 14K.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about particular things. And here's where your list comes. Here's why I liked it. So what did my eyes say when I saw it? The first thing I saw was big, chunky, and real, right? So I looked for the fact that I was like, those are definitely the real thing. The gold has a particular color, okay? So you're thinking, well, of course it's gold, Dr. Lori. That sounds ridiculous, but that's not what my point is. What I mean is when you see 14 karat gold, it has more of a golden sheen. And then there's also 15 karat gold, which is usually European, or oftentimes you see that in English. You see 15 karat gold, which is a little bit more of a greenish color. So you can see that this gold, while it's golden, it has a little bit of that greenish color, even though it's 14K, not 15K. So there's a little difference in that. And you can learn a little bit more about that on my website if you go in and you search for gold or metals in jewelry on my research pages. But that's beside the point. So you've got this piece. How long is it? It looks like it's at least about 24 inches long.
I think it's 16. So it looks like
I think it's 16
on here.
So it's not about here. It's not like 20.
No.
No, you're right. It's probably 18. Oh no, you're right again. It's 16. You were on the money. You're right. Yeah. 16. I like it a lot. You know what it reminds me of? See if it reminds any of you guys this. And I want to see those questions. So start typing, people. It reminds me of Wilma Flintstone. And Betty Rubble, remember they had the big rocks around their neck? I liked them. I liked their jewelry, the Flintstones jewelry. Anyway, that's a beautiful piece on you. And then, of course, a lot of my fashion friends, my friends in the fashion world would say, it's very good with your skin color, right? With the skin tone. It's a beautiful piece, of course. And I like the fact that you've got, of course, the 14 karat gold. I love it that they missed it, because that means a treasure hunter like you gets to benefit. So $10 for the whole lot. How many pieces in the lot?
There might have been 15.
Okay. And those individual stones look like they're in very nice condition. Are they?
Yes.
Okay. So chips, cracks, abrasions. It's not scratched anywhere, right?
No, ma'am. The only thing about this piece is on three of the ends. Like there's a piece of filigree missing on 3 of them.
Okay. So a little bit of the gold on the bottom of it has been lost.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that can easily be replaced. There are lots of folks, many of you who follow me, of course, are looking at these types of things, and they're able to fix these pieces. But that's really a beautiful piece. Yes, I do believe that this particular piece, those big pieces of turquoise, in fact, those big pieces are probably turquoise-like or turquoise style, even set in 14 karat gold. Now, many of you are going to go, I'm surprised at that. They're going to use 14 karat gold. There's not that much 14 karat gold there. There's not a lot of weight in the 14 karat gold. There's a lot of weight in actually the stones. So that's what's interesting about it. Artist names, I would think that it's unmarked. It just says made in Germany, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm going by the questions here. That was a question from Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie. And value on your piece all day, every day, $450 for your piece. That's gorgeous, just gorgeous. And they're statement pieces. It's based on actual sales records. What's a statement piece supposed to look like? It has to have a nice repetitive pattern or repetitive element. And those elements, of course, are those big blue pieces all the way through. I like the way it's put together. I like the links of the 14 karat gold. I love the 14 karat gold, right? I love it. You want to make sure you have good quality premier metals. That's what you want. That's a gorgeous piece. Of course, for a $10 investment, you paid pennies for that and you made almost $500. I'd say $450 in today's market. And all the values are based on an analysis of the market currently at the time of the taping. And it's based on actual sales records where similar pieces have sold, German pieces like that. Oh, I forgot time period. Time period, the 1970s. So it's about 50 years old.
Thank you.
Really nice to meet you, honey. See, are you still nervous?
No, that wasn't bad.
She's so sweet and cute. Nice to see you. Thanks so much. Keep watching. There's a lot there. And if you are watching, the Wedgwood link is the easiest place to get all of the videos, of course, in order, in line. My guests are here from all over, and it's great to see them. That was a great one to start it off. I liked it. Yeah, that's a nice necklace. That was a nice necklace. 16 inches. She had it. She knew the measurements right off the bat. My guests are here from all over. Here's a guest. I have to say his face looks remarkably familiar to me. Maybe we had a video call together. And we've got a nice blue-white piece. And we've got a piece of bas-relief in that charger, that large charger with the big stag with the nice rack there. That has nice antlers. And then we've also got a Wedgwood piece. So, all right, well, let's see if we can go blue-white. You all love blue-white. And even in my home, I will admit, I have some blue-white. I like blue-white to decorate with. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, Dr. Lori. I'm Donald. And
Hi, Donald.
I'm calling you for my wife, Carol. She has COVID, so she's asked me to sit in on the call for you.
Oh, I am sorry. I hope she's feeling better. Are you making her tea? Are you taking care of her? I hope you're taking care of her.
I'm taking good care of her, yes.
I'm sorry to hear that. We got to be careful. We got to be diligent. The COVID is bad, man. It's bad.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope she's on the mend and back with me very, very soon. But, well, you know, you can still watch from wherever you are, but I hope she's resting and feels better. I will say a prayer, and I hope that she feels better. Tell me about this. Where are you in the world, Donald?
I'm in Gluckstadt, Mississippi.
Nice.
Nice little town. Big town. A small town with big ideas.
Where I like that. Where is it near, sweetie?
It's just north of Jackson, the capital of Mississippi.
Going to Jackson, right? Jackson, sure, we know that. All right. So tell me a little bit about this nice blue-white, hand-painted. Now, it looks like porcelain, but I'd like to see the bottom. Can you show me the underside? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Did your wife, did you say her name was Carol?
Carol.
Did your wife, Carolyn, actually look up this mark? Did she recognize the mark?
I asked a Chinese friend of mine. He said he thinks it means queen, but he said my Chinese is not that good.
Okay, Okay, well, I'm part Italian and my Italian's not that good either. So he tried. But yes, it usually those marks. So let's look at let's look at the side, because the beauty is really in the painting. Okay.
Yes.
A couple of things about it. Let's talk a little bit about what you've got. If you don't mind holding it, Donald, are you cool with holding it while I talk a little bit?
Great.
Okay. First things first, what are we looking for? The list. We're looking for blue-white, right? That blue-white, that nice contrast of, again, that navy blue. It could be cobalt blue. It could be royal blue. It could be navy blue. It could be teal blue, but that blue against the white. We're looking for a form that actually has some abundance or substance. That's the size of the bowl when it comes to Asian ceramics, particularly these pieces. The hand painting work has to be highly detailed. This one is not. So yes, this particular piece is Chinese. It's trying to look like an older piece of Chinese ceramics, but this particular piece, and that idea that you have sort of I call them pseudo marks, because it's not exactly that. Yes, I'm sure that particular piece is quite heavy, right, Donald?
It's 7 pounds. It's 7 pounds.
That's pretty heavy, because the ceramic is really quite fine, but the ceramic is not fired at a high temperature, right? Like porcelain would be, but the ceramic, in fact, is fired at a lower temperature, and that matters. And it matters for the size of the piece, and it also matters for this weight. Okay. The other thing you're looking at here is this particular piece has a fret pattern or a meander pattern. Let's take that down for a minute. A meander pattern. Nope, don't show me inside. I'm still on the outside. There we go. So you see that's that pattern that goes all the way around. That's called a fret or meander pattern. That doesn't come from the Chinese. That comes from the Greeks. So You're now starting to see ancient civilizations, forms and images from ancient civilizations come together. This is where you start to go, okay, wait a minute, something's going wrong. What do you mean wrong, Dr. Lori? Well, what you have is a Western form, the fret pattern, with a very Eastern form. Now show me the inside, and I'm going to talk about Eastern forms that relate to Asia. First of all, those particular flowers are trying to attract the Western market, just like the fret pattern is. So it's an Asian piece, but it's not for your everyday Asian person. It's not going to be marketed to them. It's going to be marketed to you in Mississippi and me in Connecticut and Pennsylvania and that kind of thing. That's what you're looking at. So while you have these large leaf forms, you're seeing, of course, an Asian style, but it's trying to actually attract the Western market. This information is important if you're trying to collect or you're trying to resell. Also, not a lot of details. Good Asian ceramics, good Chinese pottery, specific details. Every little minute detail, little tiny, you've got a little butterfly and you see every little element of the wings and you see the little whiskers and you see the whole deal. So that's what you're looking at there. This piece is really quite nice anyway. How much did Carol pay for it?
Just a couple of dollars at a resale. Just a yard.
Okay. Now, does she usually resell, or does she buy in stuff to make your house look prettier than it is?
Well, we both, but she's hoping to resell this piece.
Okay, I would say that piece is worth about $50. Right? If we had a nice, beautiful, that size Asian piece, and it's 20th century, it's after, of course, World War II, and the mark is a mark like that. Those marks might say something like Queen or something like royalty, or it might relate to that idea of happiness or good luck. Sometimes they're those kinds of symbols and when they're not a maker's mark, or they're not a particular mark that we can attribute to a period or a dynasty, then you're dealing with some type of reproduction that's for the open market. And if you've ever been to China, you will know that those streets are full of ceramics, full of them. So much stuff that's going to be, of course, exported out of the country. But I think for a couple of dollars to make 50, if she paid $1 and she's going to make 50, that's 50 times what she paid. That's good. Anyway, you look at it.
She did great.
She did great. She did great. I wish her good health. I wish you too. So be careful. Take care of yourself as well. And it's nice. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate it. And keep in touch with me now, Donald.
I will do that. Thank you.
Tell Carol she has a good husband. She picked very well.
I think she did.
You're a cutie pie. All right. Nice to see you. Bye. So that's what I want you to know. I want you to know those lists of things. And I want you to be able to recognize when a particular item from a particular place is trying to get into a different market, is trying to attract a different market. And of course, I thank you for any way that you support the channel, watching the channel, sharing the channel, super chats and super stickers, because I'm trying to teach you information that you can use. Speaking of teaching, my classes, of course, you can join me at a class. And my most recent class that is coming up is actually at a special time to try to accommodate the folks on the West Coast of the United States and people who are far from me. So we're going to do it a little bit later. So if you're a night owl, you might want to join that particular class, which is coming up. And at the time of the taping, $39 for a class with me. It's 2 hours, sometimes even 2.5 hours with questions and everybody's objects. And I'm doing appraisals. What did I do to my finger? Okay, I will talk all about my finger and my stupidity and the great medical personnel who helped me. I will talk about that. But at my finger, I really did a job on this. And it actually has a vintage story. So stay tuned. I'll talk about the vintage aspect of my injury on another video, if that's okay. But thank you for your concern. I appreciate it. All right, let's see where we are. I did have a super chat, super sticker, so I want to thank that person. I'm sorry, I will get to that question, I hope. I've got a necklace, nice open link. I've got a piece of glass as well, and then I've got this brooch. This brooch, which looks like it has some silver, and it looks like it has some glass pieces, and it looks like it's also set in a silver toned metal. So I talked about that. I said, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this piece of glass. Can we do that?
Really?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
What's your name? Where are you calling from? We did a video call recently, didn't we?
I was in your class.
You were in my class. Okay, I'm sorry. All right.
That's okay.
But video calls are also easy to book. You can book those also. It's easy on my website at drloriv.com. Tell me your first name.
Deb.
Nice to see you, Deb. Show me this compote. That's a standing compote. My mother would call that a fruit bowl.
That's what I thought.
The name for it is a compote. You can put anything in it. And my mother liked hard candies, right? So she would put hard candies in it, unwrap them. I can still hear the cellophane, right? The cellophane of the hard candies. So a smaller one like that could be a fruit bowl, or it could be used for candy. But a standing compote dish, it's reading like it has the bulbous area on the stem. Looks like it's a reddish color.
Yes. And it
Butterfly.
has a gold.
And that's gold. Okay.
When the sun hits it, it looks like pressed glass.
It is definitely pressed glass.
But I know you had said some pressed glass is valuable.
Some pressed glass is more valuable than others, but
Right.
in fact, this particular piece is a typical piece of pressed glass out of the Pittsburgh area and the area of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and of course, Wheeling, West Virginia. So the great American glass cities of Pittsburgh, Jeannette, and of course, Wheeling. That's a very nice piece. It's pretty traditional. The piece dates to the middle years of the 20th century. You can see it from about the 1930s to about the 1950s. How did you acquire it, and how tall is it? Is it 8 inches tall?
It's 6 inches, but 8 inches in diameter.
Oh, okay. So it's 8 inches in diameter and 6 inches tall. So really, it's less of a fruit ball and more of a candy dish.
But it's just the glass is so clear and sparkly.
So let's talk about that list that I promised you. First of all, American glass usually have a pretty weighty stem for pieces of this time period. There's usually a contrast between a plain area. If you'll hold it up in front of you, there it is. Nope, there it is. Stop. So a plain area at the top at the rim, and then the banding or the decorative area, a nice curve, and then you usually have a stopping point because your eye needs to rest. You don't want it to go zhoosh right down to the base. So your eye is resting on that small orb in the middle of the stem. The stem is kind of weighty. That's also what we typically see in the tradition of 20th century glass from places like Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh, yay, I love Pittsburgh. And basically that's what we're looking at. It does. Now, a lot of the Pittsburghers are saying it really looks like a Jeannette vibe, right? It has that feeling. And those are some of the characteristics of the types of glass that we're going to see in that area. Okay. Now it's unmarked, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So sometimes
and I can find 3 seams.
Well, the seams means pressed glass. So it's put together, of course, molded together in that way. That's fine. Pressed glass is not a bad thing. Here's the thing I like. I like the gold. I like the decoration. That's the butterfly. And I like the contrast of the of actually the clear with the color. That's what I like about it. And it's very obviously American in its form, right? You could see it made into the 1960s. You could see a couple of those. I think of my Aunt Chris's house in the 1960s, and she's smoking cigarette after cigarette after cigarette. And there's always a candy around there too. But I would say value on that piece about $40. What did you pay?
I paid $1.06.
$1.06. So that was nice of you. You paid the tax too. Good.
And I'm really excited because I had thought that it was maybe 1970 and worth 35.
Well, you were close on the number. I think it's earlier than the 1970s. You know, I think it's somewhere between, you know, I'd say it's probably 50s, 60s. Certain ones like it are made as early as the 30s prior to World War II, right? But I think yours is probably straight up the middle of the 20th century.
I am so excited because I'm learning.
There it is. If you think you're excited, I do this all day, every day to hope you're learning. When I hear you're learning, when I hear you're succeeding, when I hear you're going, I'm getting this, Dr. Lori, this is so cool. It is wonderful and exciting for me. So good for you.
I told my sister, because we're into this together, and I said, I really want to see what I've got my opinion, and I want to hear hers.
All right. Well, now you heard it. And you weren't too far off, kid. Nice to see you. I want to see those questions. Thank you for those questions. And thank you very much for being with me. Thank you, Ashley. That's really very nice. I appreciate the super chats and super stickers. It helps to support everything that happens here. And there's a lot that happens here, you know, even when I'm not going to the emergency room. Anyway, can you tell the age of a vintage frame by the width of the linen liner? Which decade had the widest? Oh, well, that's a nice question, Rob. That's a smart question. Couple things. Well, the width of the linen liners, typically you're going to see wider linen liners. I always think if you can think of it about something else that's popular in that time period, it probably will help you. So the bottom of the pants, the era where the bottom of your jeans were the widest is usually the 60s or 70s. So the liners are somewhat similar. However, it's not a general statement. It's not that every single thick linen liner. What is he talking about, a linen liner? There's a wooden frame around a work of art, and then there's usually an insert, which some people call a liner, but art historians would call that an insert. And then there's a runner, which is usually another thin little piece of wood, or maybe a thin little piece that's gilded that looks gold. So the size of that liner that goes all the way around the middle part of the frame is usually wider in the late 60s to the mid 70s than it is in the early 60s or the 80s. The 1980s frames look rather different. Remember, you could have a wide linen liner today if you wanted to. So don't forget about that. That's true too. And thank you for some of you who always support the channel, who have been following me for 20, 25 years and always support what we do in whatever amount is very, very kind, whatever amount works within your budget. I want you to succeed, and I'm very grateful for all of the help. And it does show that you show appreciation for what we do, because unlike a lot of folks, I'm getting you the right information. There are people who say I'm wrong. There are people who say, oh, I'm nasty, I'm this, I'm that, and whatever you think I am. Good luck to you. But basically, I want you to get it. So anytime you support it, I know that you actually are saying, hey, you know, Dr. Lori helped me with this because I learned something from her that I use every single day, every time I actually do this. It's hard to basically use my pointer finger with this big bandage, so I apologize if that's bothering you. But basically, that's what I want you to do. So I appreciate all that you've done. Oh, I see Hummel figurines on the table. You passed two of those up recently because their retail value was pretty low. Crystal. There are a lot of people who are collecting Hummel figurines. I actually did a video call with a collector, a young collector, who said, I am reestablishing my grandmother's collection and I'm looking for Hummel figurines and I'm seeing the marks and I'm understanding what's what. Make sure that you are passing, if you're passing by anything that looks like a Hummel, make sure you're passing by the fakes and not the real ones. So be careful when you do that. Just because you saw a resale value online that somebody was selling it low, well, that doesn't mean that they got the value right. And that's been a truth for Hummels for a long, long time. There's one auction house that I think of in mind who has done a tremendous business getting very high values for Hummel figurines. Almost their whole business has been that. So you've got to know where to sell it. You've got to know what to do. Don't assume that these people, when you just do an internet search, that they've got it right. So that's great. Yeah. Oh, that's okay, Cashel. You did fine with camera skills. You know, I do have patience with it. You have to have some patience. I'm happy to be patient. I also appreciate when people are trying, because, you know, there are things that I've tried in my life that people had to be patient with me. I have a personal trainer who's always patient with me. I mean, there's certain things I just can't do. So, you know, but no, it was fine. I'm sure it was fine. I'm glad you enjoyed this video call, and I'm glad that you did it. The best thing I tell people about my video calls is you're going to get the real answer. There it's going to be. You're going to know the answer. There you go. And it can help you to move along, right? Make sure you're organized. That's the best thing about my best advice about the video calls. Make sure you're organized, and I can get through a lot. If you're organized, I'm fast. My guests are here from all over. Let's see what they've got. So we've got this little Wedgwood pot. It's so sweet, and it's pink, and it's pretty, and a lot of you have Wedgwood. So I like that too. And I like the bulbous nature of that. Sweet little lid on that piece. That's great. Let's take a look at this green dragonfly. Let's take the Wedgwood.
Okay.
I changed my mind. I'm a woman. I'm entitled to change my mind if I want to change my mind, aren't I? Right?
Yeah.
Let's see. What have you got? You know, I'm entitled. What have you got? What's your name? Where you from?
I'm Valerie from Davidsonville, Maryland.
Hi, Valerie. How are you?
I've been attending your classes. I'm up for that one at 10 p.m. So I'm excited about that one.
Okay, well, great. I'm so glad. You know, all of you guys asked me for different times, so we gave you what you asked for. So I'm glad that's working out. The same way I appreciate your support. I'm trying to give you what you asked for. So tell me about this piece. Do you collect Wedgwood? I think you do.
Yes, I do. And I heard these were highly collectible.
Who did you hear that from? Who was your source?
There's a Wedgwood like Facebook group, and you know.
There's a Wedgwood Facebook group. Okay. Experts all. Do you love all these people who are experts? There are people online doing YouTube channels, on Facebook groups, who are going to tell you the color of your hair. They're going to tell you how your arm feels in the morning. They're going to tell you. I mean, these people crack me up.
Yeah.
They can tell you more about you than you. I mean, it's amazing out there. So tell me about
the colors. The colors are very nice. Those seem to be very attractive. I did really well. I had some Wedgwood eggs that were. Tell me
about this piece. So you did well with your Wedgwood. Are you reselling the Wedgwood pieces?
Yes, on some pieces. So I'm trying to find out maybe the value of this, and you helped me along the way with some of the Wedgwood that I've already sold. That you know.
Well, you would think I would, being an expert in all.
And so this little piece is a little miniature.
Let's talk a little bit about what you look for in Wedgwood, because many of you are looking at Wedgwood. First of all, let's spell it right. Wedgwood, W-E-D-G-W-O-O-D. There's not a second E in Wedgwood. Many people get that wrong. That will help some of you if, in fact, you are looking online and trying to buy something from an online auction, because spelling mistakes usually work in a buyer's favor. So be aware of that. The other thing are specific colors would be important to Wedgwood. There's a Wedgwood piece here on my table tonight too. So basically you can see, I'm going to just pick it up quickly, but I'm not going to do much with it. So there's a Wedgwood blue, white Wedgwood piece, right? So basically what we're looking at, and never do what I just did. You never hold it from that area, but with this finger, I didn't want to do this I wouldn't want to have it in my hand too long. A couple of different things. First of all, the different colors. So it's jasperware, which is that applied ornament. Many Wedgwood collectors look for, of course, not only this garland, which is, of course, those nice garlands, right, of leaves or of branches that you typically see on Wedgwood, but they also look for mythological figures or classical figures, right? So, you know, chariots, people on chariots, that kind of thing. The Roman senators, maybe it's one of the great Roman mythological figures like Venus or Mars or such, Apollo. This particular piece has a nice base or ground form. So that nice pinky form is really quite nice. And yes, Wedgwood comes in colors other than blue and white, many other colors, particularly the green or the mossy. There's also a cobalt, which is a different type of blue than our typical royal Wedgwood blue. You've got a nice pink, sort of almost a mulberry, pinkish color, not quite mulberry, but there's also a darker red. There's lots of colors on Wedgwood. Wedgwood should be marked Wedgwood. Sometimes it has a number and sometimes it has England or made in England on the bottom as well. The miniatures, anything miniature is always popular. People like things that are made in miniature because it's more difficult to make it. I like on this the decorated finial. That's that top right there that her fingers on right now. And I like the size of this piece. Miniature, very nice. Is this the only piece?
No, I have some others, but I have a teapot in the yellow or the primrose. And
Okay.
so I have several little miniature teapots, but I don't have the set that goes with it.
Okay,
Right.
but you do have other teapots. So you could say, hey, I might put these together as a group or as a lot, or maybe, which is what I prefer, sell them individually if you don't have the complete set.
Mhm.
Yes, yellow, to answer the question of the person who put it in the comments, and thank you for that, yellow or primrose is very popular too, and relatively rare. But what you're looking for is you're looking for time periods. So with Wedgwood, you're looking for era, you're looking for decoration, you're looking for the garlands, you're looking for the mythological or classical figures, and you're looking for, of course, that nice bright contrast. The Wedgwood pieces that have been in homes of smokers, if they're very dirty, they're a little bit difficult to, of course, clean, but you could do it, but there's something to consider too. How much did you pay for this piece?
This piece was I got it in a set, so it was like about I think it was $50 for all of the pieces. Yeah.
So for all the pieces in this set, $50. Value on the one I'm looking at right here for you. Time period for it, early part of the 1900s. Value on it, $150. Good for you.
Okay, thank you.
Beautiful. Nice to see you, Valerie.
Thanks.
That's
Enjoy.
great. All great. Wonderful pieces. Look for those things. Remember my list because they're going to help you to succeed. Look for the elements that I tell you. I always tell you what to look for and how to tell, and that will help you, of course, with your treasure hunting. I'm Dr. Lori. I'll see you next time.